This is problem number 4 from the chapter 9 closure packet. Solve each inequality below for the given variable. Then represent each solution on a number line and written as an inequality. So 2 things you need to show for your solution. Problem A, 4x minus 3 is greater than or equal to 9. So I'm going to solve all of these like they were equations, like these were equal signs. And I'm going to get the variable by itself. So first thing I'm going to add 3. So I'll have 4x on the left. These cancel out. I'm going to keep my symbol the same. Greater than or equal to 9 plus 3 gives me 12. Okay. Then from there, to get x by itself, I divide by 4. And I'll get x is greater than or equal to 3 as part of my solution. I also need to show this on number line. So I'm going to draw a number line here. I'm going to put my number 3, that's where I get that from, is 3, and I'm going to put 0 on here as well, just so you can refer which side I'm talking about. So I need to make a circle now at the point 3, and I make a circle, I make a closed circle if there's an equal to underneath this symbol. So since there is one here, I'm going to fill my circle in. Okay? Some of you may draw your circle and draw your number line differently than I do. And that's fine as long as you can read which direction you're shading and see how your circle is drawn. If this did not have a line under it, it would have been an open circle, so I wouldn't have filled it in. Okay, so this says x is greater than or equal to 3. So numbers that are greater than 3, for example, would be like a 4, right? So that's on the right side. So I'm going to shade or kind of draw an arrow to the right. Okay, so making sure we can tell which way that is. I think that's pretty clear. That's to the right. Okay. Problem B, same thing. I'm going to distribute the 3 first, just like this is an equal sign. I would distribute 3, which means multiply both things by 3. So 3t plus 12 is less than 5. Okay, to get t by itself, I'm going to subtract 12. So those cancel out. I have 3t is less than negative 7. Okay, not all of these will be perfect numbers. So from here to get t by itself, I divide by 3. So if t is less than negative 7/3. And that's a number. That's allowed to happen. That's going to be on the negative side, and it's greater, or it's more negative than negative 1, and more than negative than negative 2. So here's my number, negative 7/3. So zero's over here just for reference, right? This is the negative side, positives are over here. So I need to make my circle. Circle is going to be an open circle this time because there's no equal to under here. I'm not allowed to equal negative 7/3, which means if I were to plug in negative 7/3 for t, my statement would not be true. But if I plug in a number that's less than negative 7/3, then this would be true. So things that are less than negative 7/3, which means they're more negative, is going to be to the left of my number. So I'm going to draw an arrow that you can see is definitely to the left. Okay, and this is an open circle. Part C. 2 ways I could approach this problem. I have a fraction that has an inequality and then a number. One way, let's make this number into a fraction. So let's divide it by 1. So I'm going to rewrite it just so it looks a little more even. So I have 2y over 7 is less than 8 over 1. Okay? So from here, I'm pretending this is an equal sign, so I'm going to cross multiply. Okay? So I'm going to have 2y times 1 is 2y, less than 8 times 7 is 56, and I'm going to divide by 2 to get y by itself. So I have y is less than 28. Okay. So that's one way you can solve it. I'll also show you another way. This really means it's dividing by 7. I have a 7 on the bottom, so I can also do the opposite of that to get rid of this dividing by 7. So I could times 7 on both sides, and I'll get, these 7s would cross out, and I get 2y is less than 56, which is the same thing we have down here. So whichever way you prefer. If you want to get rid of a fraction, just multiply by the number that's on the bottom or multiply by the reciprocal. Or you can do a proportion and cross multiply here. Either way, you get the same answer. Y is less than 28. So on our number line, here's 28, here's 0 way down there. Okay? I'm going to make an open circle. This is not equal to 28. Open means I'm not going to include that point. And y is less than 28. So numbers that are less than 28, for example, 25, that's kind of over here. So I'm going to draw 0 is less than 28 also, so I'm going to draw an arrow all the way down to the left, starting from 28, okay, with my open circle. Last problem for number 4, part D, same as if it's an equal sign, so I'm going to distribute that -3 to both sides, or both things inside here first. Copy down the first side. I have -3 times x is -3x. -3 times -8 is positive 24. Okay. So then I'm going to get my variables on the same side. I would recommend getting them on the left side, having the x's on the left side. Otherwise, you're going to have a backwards kind of inequality statement. So let's add 3x to both sides. You can still do it, but it just is a little extra step you got to kind of think about. So 5x plus 3x is an 8x plus 4 is greater than 24. So I'm going to subtract 4 here, and I'll have 8x is greater than 20, and I'll divide by 8. So my inequality solution is going to be x is greater than 28ths, or I can simplify that if I divide both of these by 4, sorry. I'm going to get a 5 on the top and 2 on the bottom. So 5 over 2 or 2.5. Either one of those is okay. And I need to draw my number line. So let me have some more space here. So 5 halves or 2.5. 0 is kind of over here. Let's draw an open circle at this point. I cannot include that point. And x is greater than 2/5. So things that are bigger than 2/5, for example 3, would be over here. I'm going to go to the right. Make sure that you can read the numbers on there, and your teacher can read the numbers on your number line, and we can tell if it's a open circle or a closed circle, and we can tell which direction your arrow is pointing. A lot of times that's hard to tell, so make sure that you're very clear in that.